And we are back. I'm Fly Navarro with Fly Zone Fishing. Here's Ray Rosher for R&R Tackle. Ray, how are you today?
Wonderful.
Today we are sitting here off of South Florida, and one of the more popular ways to go fishing is kite fishing. Why do you guys do it?
Kite fishing really is a pain, you know. It's really difficult, you know, but it pays off, you know. To compete, you kind of have to do it.
Why does it pay off?
I think the very simple answer is coverage.
Okay.
Footprint. You know, you think about, you know, 4-rigger baits, 6-rigger baits, you know, how big's your box? Kites, it might be this big, you know, versus riggers. So, and not to mention, you have lots of dynamic things you can do with a kite. You can lift a bait, position it on a free jumper, drop them back. You know, that's kind of advanced training,
now,
but you know.
Now let's just get into it. We put a kite up, and the bait is not connected to the kite. The bait is connected to a clip.
Yep.
On the kite line,
Sure.
correct?
Yep.
And then down to the water.
Yep.
So what you're doing is keeping all your terminal tackle out of the water.
Yeah, a lot of that. Yep.
Okay. And where did this idea come from? Did it start here in South Florida?
Well, I think Bob Lewis really introduced it maybe in the 60s, 70s, before my time. But it really came from the Polynesian Islands. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but that's where it originated. Tommy Gifford learned about it over in California. I want to say the Tuna Club. Silk kites, brought one back to Bob Lewis. He realized the potential, patented it, gave the patented rights to Pomponette, and Pomponette built them for, you know, more than a dozen years. That's why the old kites are a Pomponette kite with Bob Lewis's signature.
Nice. And now, when it first started, you was flying one kite, and now mainly for sail fishing, people are flying two, correct?
Yep, but walk before you run. We're going to get there.
We'll get there. I know I've seen, and we've discussed it before, where during some of the SKA Kingfish tournaments, I've seen boats with up to 5 kites.
Yep.
So again, like you said, it's walk before you run.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Perfect. A little history on kite fishing.
One more interesting thing. Kite fishing is the only technique I've personally been involved in tournaments that it got banned 2 times. One in the early 80s Navarro and Ray Rosher tournament, and secondly at the Reef Cup in Ocean Reef. So that tells you a little bit too about how effective it is.
Why? Okay, that was my question for you. Why did they ban it?
Well, my take on it, because I was there fishing in the years surrounding it, a lot of success, a handful of guys. John Dudas Sr. in the early 80s taught Jimmy Lewis and I was working for Jimmy on the Tropicat, taught us how to lead our kites. John Dudas Sr. is the originator of that idea, to my knowledge. Taught us, Dick Greiner. The 3 of us came in the top 3 positions in the first year of the Navarro and Ray Rosher tournament.
So it was just an unfair advantage.
Yeah, and they, you know, locals were not happy, and you know, that's a long time ago, but I watched it. And then the next year, and they actually had kites for 2 years. The next year, like 5 guys fished 2 kites, and they came in the top 6 places. The 3rd year it was banned. And the Reef Cup, same thing. As some guys, you know, the 2 kite guys, and a lot of it depends on conditions. Slick, calm in the Keys, you're going to be riding the tower, looking at, you know, tailors and, well, I mean, swimmers and stuff. But when it's windy, you know.
All right. Well, that gives us a little history on why people kite fish and where it came from. And thank you for joining us here in the Fly Zone.